find it extremely hard to imagine how an athlete could reach that kind of success which others are unable to do. The case in point being Novak Djokovic, who has won 23 Grand Slams and still going strong. And there's an aura of invincibility around him, right? So let's try to find why Novak Djokovic could get to his potential and play to his potential consistently. Because finally, beyond everything, that is what matters. For a player to succeed at the highest level, he needs to play to his potential. But how does that happen? And there are two aspects to playing to a potential. One is the performance part, and the second is the mindset part. And both are different and not to be confused. When we look at Novak Djokovic and we look at his performance, I think so we realize that his greatest asset has been his consistency of performance, right? He's been so consistent in everything he does. But where does this consistency come from? How is he able to achieve this level of consistency? And the reason that I feel he is able to get it and be so consistent is the fact that he knows his habits and routines that are going to help him perform to his potential. But when we look at habits and routines, how is that going to help performance? Because I feel when we look at performance, we do not really understand that habits and routines are required in each and every aspect of performance. It is the spiritual aspect, it is the social aspect, it is the emotional aspect, it is the mental aspect, it is the physical aspect, it is the technical aspect, and it's the tactical aspect. And all of these is finally going to culminate in a player being able to perform to his potential each and every time. And I think so Novak Djokovic knows exactly what to do on each of these things and performs each and every time on these routines and habits and executes them. So that is the reason why he is able to go to that level that he goes. The second aspect, as I said, was mindset. But what do we really mean by this mindset? Because so many players, I'm sure, are as mentally tough as Novak Djokovic. But there is something within the mindset that Novak Djokovic knows how to deal with that others are not able to deal with. And there's a great learning here. I think so players and people do not realize the impact of expectations on the mind. It's nothing great to win when there's nothing to lose. You see players, for example, are 1-4 down and from there they suddenly go and win. You see a highly ranked player, in the 100 suddenly beat a top 10 player. But that's a one-off, and that can happen because there's no expectation. So you can freely play the way you want to play. But for greats like Djokovic or Federer, or even for that matter, our cricketers, you will realize that it is the ability to process the same expectation in your mind in a different way is what matters. Because the fact of the matter is that although the pressure or the feeling of pressure is the same, but the levels of these pressure are different, the connotations of pressure are different, and expectations create a different connotation of pressure. So you might be knowing how to handle pressure, but there is a different way to handle pressure when you are expected to win and still you win. Imagine when Djokovic went into this French Open, there was no Federer, there was no Nadal, there was no real compatriot around him that was, from his era, and he was expected to win right from the start. And you can imagine that it must surely be a lot of burden on him, on his mind. There's no doubt about it. But he knows how to work on his mindset at these moments of time when there are expectations, and keep playing and doing the things that he needs to do. And it is this formula, it's this mental process that he has trained for and kept working on it and refining it to a point now that he can execute it whenever he wants to, whenever he feels that different pressure that is weighing on his mind. And that is what causes him to play at his best even when there is a lot of pressure. And therefore I feel, when it comes to the greats, when it comes to Novak Djokovic winning the 23rd title, these are the two aspects. One is the consistency of performance because of habits and routines that he knows to apply in each and every aspect of his game and of his game. And second is the mindset, the ability to train his mind on his expectations and the pressure thereon because of these expectations, and knowing exactly what to do and executing it perfectly. These are the two reasons